Welcome to Brainwaves and Breakthroughs.
Ever feel like you're living with a furry mystery? Feathered, scaled even. We're going deep into pet behavior today.
Yeah.
You might be surprised at what science has to say about, all those quirky things our pets do.
It's true. We often, I think, just dismiss those actions as like pet things.
Right.
But there's often a fascinating story behind, each head tilt, each tail wag, or, strategic dig in the flower bed.
Okay, so let's start with chewing. I think nearly every pet parent has dealt with this.
Oh, yeah.
My dog goes through chew toys like it's like a competitive sport.
Right.
But why? Why is that gnawing instinct so strong?
Well, for puppies and kittens, chewing is how they explore the world, right?
Hmm.
Everything is a potential chew toy when you're just figuring things out. Plus, they're teething.
Oh, or...
So chewing helps relieve some of that discomfort. But, and here's where it gets really interesting, chewing also triggers endorphin release.
Oh, so it's like a natural pain reliever and a de-stressing activity all in one.
Precisely. And those endorphins can even create a sense of euphoria,
Really?
which might explain why some pets seem to get so fixated on chewing.
Uh,
Now, in adult dogs and cats, persistent chewing, that can be a sign of anxiety, boredom, or even dental issues.
okay. So it's not always just a puppy phase.
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
Chewing, it does help keep teeth clean, especially for dogs.
Okay.
And speaking of dental care, did you know that for rabbits and rodents, chewing is essential for their health?
Wait, really? Why is that?
Their teeth never stop growing.
Oh, wow.
So chewing isn't just a habit, it's how they prevent their teeth from becoming overgrown,
Hmm.
which can lead to, some serious dental problems. This is why providing appropriate chew toys is crucial for all pets, no matter the species.
That's a great point. I never realized chewing was so vital for some animals. Now, let's shift gears to another instinctual behavior, digging. I swear my dog can turn a perfectly manicured lawn into a lunar landscape in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
What's the motivation behind all that excavation?
Digging is hardwired
Yeah.
into many dogs, especially breeds like terriers,
Right?
who were originally bred for hunting burrowing animals.
Oh, okay.
They literally have generations of digging expertise in their DNA.
So they can't help themselves. They're practically programmed to dig. But what about when they're not chasing, imaginary badgers?
Right.
Are there other reasons for digging?
Absolutely. Sometimes it's as simple as wanting like a cool shaded den on a hot day.
Okay.
Or they might be trying to bury a prized possession,
Ah.
like a bone, a toy,
Uh-huh.
to save for later.
Okay.
It's a behavior linked to their wild ancestors who would stash food
Makes sense.
to ensure they had like a backup supply.
So it's like their own little savings account buried in the backyard.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And we can't forget about escape artists. Some dogs will dig to try and get out of a fenced-in area
Oh.
or to reach something interesting on the other side.
Oh.
Now, cats are generally less enthusiastic diggers than dogs, but they have their own reasons for getting their paws dirty.
Right. My cat usually prefers leaving her gifts on the rug rather than burying them. But I have noticed her, digging around in her litter box sometimes.
Yeah.
What's that about?
If a cat is excessively digging in the litter box, it could be a sign that something's off.
Okay.
They might not like the type of litter, the location of the box, or perhaps it's just not clean enough for their liking.
So they're sending us a message, something like, hey, this litter situation needs an upgrade.
Precisely.
Okay.
Cats are known for their discerning tastes.
Right.
Occasionally, you'll also see them digging out of pure instinct, perhaps channeling their inner hunter and trying to uncover some imaginary prey.
Interesting. So the key takeaway here is to provide designated digging spots for your dog and a sparkling clean litter box for your cat.
Right.
And hopefully everyone's happy. Okay, now for a behavior that's a bit more audible.
Yeah.
Let's talk about barking. Sometimes it feels like my dog has an entire vocabulary of barks, but I'm not sure I'm fluent.
Right.
What are they trying to say with all that barking?
Well, barking is indeed a dog's primary way of communicating, both with us and with each other.
Okay.
It's like their version of speech.
So what are some of the common messages?
Often they're acting as an alarm system,
Oh, okay.
alerting their pack, which includes you, to anything unusual or potentially dangerous.
Right.
Other times they might be barking for attention,
Okay.
hoping for a treat, a game of fetch, or just some quality time. And of course, there's the enthusiastic barking that comes with, greetings, playtime,
Right.
the anticipation of something exciting.
Right. Like the "I'm so happy to see you" bark, or the "Is that the treat jar I hear?" bark. But sometimes the barking goes beyond those normal situations.
Yeah.
And seems excessive. What's going on then? Is it more than just excitement?
Excessive barking often signals an underlying emotional state, like fear or anxiety.
Okay.
The dog might be feeling stressed, lonely, or unsettled by something in their environment. The key is to listen carefully and try to understand the context of the barking to address that root cause effectively.
So basically, we need to become better interpreters of dog language.
Yes.
They're trying to tell us something important, even if it comes out as a string of woofs. Now let's move on to a behavior that's less noisy, but can be just as frustrating. Scratching. Have you ever felt like your furniture was a personal scratching post for your cat?
Oh, I think we've all been there.
Right. So why do they do it?
Cats scratch for several reasons.
Okay.
And it's important to remember that it's an instinctual behavior, not a deliberate act of destruction.
Okay.
One primary reason is claw maintenance.
Okay.
Scratching helps remove the outer layer of their claws, keeping them sharp and healthy.
Ah, so it's like a self-administered manicure.
Exactly. It also allows them to stretch, those important back and leg muscles.
Right.
But here's a fascinating detail. Cats have scent glands in their paws.
Wait, really? I had no idea.
Yes. So when they scratch, they're not only sharpening their claws and stretching, but also leaving behind their scent,
Okay.
effectively marking their territory.
It's like a feline do not disturb sign.
Exactly.
So that tattered armchair is actually strategically placed message. This is mine. I can't believe I never knew about those scent glands. What else should we know about cat scratching?
Well, it's important to remember that scratching can also be a way for cats to express their emotions. They might scratch when excited, stressed, or even frustrated. And speaking of scratching enthusiasts, did you know that certain breeds like Persian cats are known for being particularly passionate about this behavior?
Really? So if you have a Persian, maybe stock up on extra scratching posts.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a helpful tip. All right, let's shift gears now and talk about those hilarious bursts of energy that pets get. The zoomies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? That sudden, uncontrollable need to run around like they've been possessed by a tiny, energetic demon.
In the scientific world, those are known as frenetic random activity periods.
Okay.
Or FRAPs for short.
FRAPs.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds a lot less fun than zoomies, but I guess it gets the point across. What causes those sudden bursts of energy?
They're a natural way for pets to release pent-up energy and express pure joy. You often see them after baths, a period of confinement, or even after like an exciting event.
Okay.
Think of it like a pressure valve, releasing all that pent-up energy.
So it's like they suddenly have to run off all that extra excitement and happiness, almost like a physical expression of joy.
Exactly. And while zoomies are generally harmless, they can sometimes lead to comical mishaps. For example, I once had a dog who, in the midst of a post-bath FRP session, ran headfirst into a wall.
Oh, no. Was he okay?
Thankfully, he was fine, but it was definitely a memorable moment. It highlights that while zoomies are often hilarious to watch, it's always a good idea to make sure your pet has a safe space to unleash their energy.
That's a great point. So we've covered chewing, digging, barking, scratching, and zoomies. We've learned that even seemingly simple behaviors can have complex roots in instinct, emotion, and even physical needs. But what about our other furry friends? Feathered, scaled.
Yeah.
What kinds of behaviors do we see in pets beyond the world of dogs and cats?
That's a great question, and one we'll dive into further in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll explore the unique ways that birds, rabbits, and small mammals communicate their needs, express their personalities.
That sounds fascinating. I'm already eager to learn more about those often overlooked members of the pet world. Stay tuned, listeners, because we'll be right back after a quick break. Welcome back to our exploration of pet behavior. We've already uncovered some fascinating insights about why our furry, feathered, and scaled companions do the things they do. It's amazing how much we can learn about them when we, delve deeper into the why behind their actions.
Absolutely, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface, really.
Right.
There's a whole world of fascinating behaviors waiting to be explored.
Yeah.
You know, those unique quirks that make each pet an individual.
You mean those endearing and sometimes frustrating little habits that leave us wondering if our pets are secretly geniuses
Exactly.
or just a little bit crazy.
Like your cat's fascination with knocking things off shelves.
Right.
Or a dog's insistence on spinning in circles before settling down for a nap.
Oh, yeah.
These seemingly random actions often have roots in instinct.
Okay.
Or learned as associations.
So there's a method to their madness after all.
Quite often, yes. For instance, that spinning behavior you mentioned in dogs.
Right.
That might be a throwback to their wild ancestors who would, trample down grass or leaves to create a more comfortable resting spot.
Wow. I never considered that. It's incredible how those ancient instincts can still linger in our, domesticated pets. So we've talked about instinct, but what about learned behaviors? How do our pets adapt to, our human world and learn the rules of the house?
That's where training comes in.
Right.
Positive reinforcement, which focuses on rewarding desired behaviors
Okay.
with, praise. Treats is a powerful tool for shaping our pets' actions and strengthening the bond we share.
So it's about more than just teaching them fun tricks.
Absolutely. Training can help address a wide range of behaviors.
Okay.
From basic obedience commands like, sit and stay,
Right.
to more complex issues like separation anxiety, leash reactivity, or even aggression.
So it sounds like training plays a pretty crucial role in helping our pets, navigate the human world and live happy, well-adjusted lives. But what about those more challenging behaviors? The ones that can be difficult to change, like aggression or fear?
Those cases often benefit from the guidance of a certified animal behaviorist.
Yeah, okay.
These professionals have specialized training and experience in identifying the root causes of problematic behaviors and developing tailored treatment plans.
So there's hope even for those tougher situations.
Absolutely.
It's comforting to know that there are resources available to help. Now, while all this information is fascinating, I know some listeners might be thinking, okay, I get it, but how does understanding pet behavior actually impact my daily life with my furry friend?
Right.
That's a
Yeah.
great question. What would you say to those listeners?
I'd say that understanding pet behavior goes far beyond simply solving problems
Okay.
or preventing unwanted actions. It's about enriching the relationship you have with your animal companion. It's about appreciating their unique personality, understanding their needs, and creating an environment where they feel safe, loved, and happy.
So it's about more than just, training or correcting bad behavior.
Exactly. It's about connecting with our pets on a deeper level, seeing the world through their eyes, and recognizing that even those quirky, sometimes frustrating actions
Right.
are often expressions of their individual personalities and needs.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about appreciating the whole package, quirks and all, and meeting our pets where they are. So far, we've covered a lot of ground. From instinctual behaviors like digging and chewing to the power of training and the importance of, seeking professional help when needed. But there's another crucial aspect of pet behavior that we need to address: communication. How do we decipher those subtle signals and cues that our pets are constantly sending us?
That's a critical piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's like learning a secret language, a language that unlocks a deeper level of understanding between you and your pet.
I love that analogy. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing half the conversation with my pet.
Right.
I see them doing something or hear a certain vocalization, and I'm not quite sure what they're trying to tell me.
It's easy to miss those subtle cues, especially in our busy human world.
Right.
But by tuning into their body language, vocalizations, and even their scent, we can begin to understand their messages more clearly.
So it's like cracking a code, uncovering a hidden world of communication.
Precisely. And once you start to understand that language, you'll be amazed at how much your pet is trying to tell you.
I'm already intrigued, and I know our listeners are too. This idea of unlocking a secret language of communication with our pets it's fascinating, but I have a feeling there's even more to uncover.
You're absolutely right. There's a whole world of nuance to explore in pet communication. Those subtle signs and signals that often go unnoticed.
I can't wait to dive in. Stay tuned, listeners, as we continue our deep dive into the fascinating realm of pet behavior. We'll be back shortly to crack the code of pet communication together. Welcome back to our deep dive. We're unlocking the secrets of pet communication to truly understand what our animal companions are trying to tell us.
It's like becoming fluent in a whole new language.
Yeah.
One that really deepens the bond with our pets, allows us to connect on a much richer level.
I love that idea. It's like we've been having a conversation all along, but only hearing, half of it. So where do we even begin to decipher all those subtle cues and signals?
The eyes are always a good place to start.
Okay.
A dog's gaze, that can reveal a lot about their emotional state. A soft, relaxed gaze, those puppy dog eyes,
Right.
usually indicates calm, content, but a hard stare, especially when accompanied by, tense body language. That can be a warning sign of aggression or dominance.
So it's not always about those wagging tails. I've always just thought a wagging tail meant a happy dog.
Tail wags can be surprisingly deceptive.
Yeah.
You have to look at the whole picture, the context of the situation,
Right.
and the other body language signals. A high, stiff wag, for example.
Okay.
That might actually be a sign of anxiety or tension, not pure happiness. It's like their tail is saying, I'm not sure about this. I'm on alert.
That's so interesting. I never realized there were so many nuances to a simple tail wag. What about cats? They always seem to be masters of subtlety when it comes to, communication.
Cats are incredibly nuanced communicators.
Right.
Their tails, ears, even their whiskers can convey volumes.
Wow.
For instance, twitching tail, not always a sign of, playful anticipation.
Okay.
It can also indicate irritation, anxiety,
Right.
and those flattened ears.
Right.
We often associate those with fear, aggression.
Right.
They can also signal pain.
Discomfort. So it's all about paying attention to those little details, those subtle shifts in body language that might easily go unnoticed. What about vocalizations? My dog seems to have a bark for every occasion.
Right. But I'm not always sure what he's trying to say.
Dogs are definitely vocal creatures.
Yeah.
Each bark, whine, growl, and howl carries a specific meaning.
Okay.
And it's up to us to become familiar with their, individual vocabulary.
Right.
Listen carefully to the tone, the intensity, and consider the context. Are they barking at the doorbell? That's probably an alert bark, letting you know someone is at the door. Are they whining by the door? Maybe they're signaling they need to go outside.
It's like learning a whole new language,
Yeah.
but one that deepens our understanding of our furry friends.
What about cats? They seem to be much quieter than dogs, at least in my experience.
Cats are more subtle with their vocalizations, but they still have a lot to say.
Okay.
We often associate purring with contentment,
Right.
but cats also purr when they're stressed, in pain, or even trying to self-soothe.
I had no idea purring could have so many meanings. How can we tell the difference between, a happy purr and a stressed purr?
It's all about context. Pay attention to their body language and the situation.
Okay.
A cat purring contentedly while, curled up on your lap
Right.
is probably genuinely happy. But a cat purring at the vet's office with, dilated pupils, flattened ears, is likely feeling anxious or scared.
So it seems like the key to understanding our pets is to look at the whole picture. Consider all the signals. Verbal, nonverbal.
Exactly. And don't forget about scent.
Oh, right.
That plays a crucial role in pet communication, especially for dogs and cats. They use scent to mark their territory, identify each other, and even convey their emotional state.
Right. Earlier we learned about those fascinating scent glands in a cat's paws. So they're just for, scratching. They're also for leaving behind those I was here messages.
Precisely. Those scent glands allow them to deposit chemical messages, communicating with other animals in their environment and reinforcing their sense of belonging. Dogs also use scent extensively, sniffing each other as a way of gathering information and leaving their own scent markings through urination.
This entire conversation has been so enlightening. I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of the subtle ways my pet tries to communicate with me. I'm definitely going to be paying closer attention to those little details from now on.
That's great.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what would you say is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
Every pet is unique, and their behaviors, communication styles reflect their individual personalities, needs, experiences. By taking the time to observe, listen, and truly understand what they're trying to tell us, we can create more fulfilling and harmonious relationships with our animal companions.
Beautifully said. It's about approaching our pets with curiosity, empathy, and a genuine desire to understand their perspective. So for those who want to, explore this topic further, what resources would you recommend?
There are some wonderful books, websites dedicated to pet behavior,
Hmm.
training. I'd also encourage seeking guidance from a certified animal behaviorist if, you're facing any specific challenges or need personalized support.
That's great advice. Remember this journey of understanding and connecting with your pet. It's ongoing. Approach it with patience, a sense of wonder, and a willingness to learn, and you'll be amazed at how much deeper your bond can become.
Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey into the world of pet behavior. Until next time, keep those tails wagging, those purrs rumbling, and those communication lines open.